All right, so we're pretty much coming up on 1:30. Want to say a shout out to everyone who's watching. Hoping that the kids are quiet enough for you to actually hear us and engage with us today. As you hopefully know or may not know, my name is Tamika Anderson. I am the founder of Single Parents Who Travel, which is definitely a travel group, but we all know what's happening right now with travel. It's not really happening as much. And so a lot of us are at home, we're pretty much, quarantined with our families, and not just obviously in the US, but around the globe. So, one of the things we're going to talk about today is sort of like the collective global experience. And a lot of it has to do with health. Where are we with our health? Also, we're going into a new year. I don't know about you, but my vision board always has a picture of a woman with a bikini on it. Ask me if I'm ever that woman. Um, but the goal is to get as close to the best version of that as you, which is the reason why we wanted to have this panel discussion today. So I want to just say thank you to Dr. Anderson for joining us and give her an opportunity to tell us a little bit about herself.
Hey, Tamika, thank you so much. I am so excited to be here. So I'm Dr. Lydia Anderson. I'm a physical therapist. I'm the owner of Access Physical Therapy and also this weight loss program that's called the Last Stop Weight Loss Solution, which is a fantastic program. I'm really excited to tell you guys about it because, like you said, I think as a society, because of the pandemic, we are in the worst place we've ever been with health and fitness, and especially self-care. So this is certainly a solution for that, to get back to some of that self-love, to start incorporating some health and wellness into your life. Because I think especially in this group of single parents, it is so hard. There's more stress on single parents than there has ever been in the entire history of humanity, to do 25 jobs at once. And by the way, do your actual job that you get paid to do, plus take care of yourself. So I'm excited to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. I mean, Dixie, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, we've got moms and we've got dads who are pulling triple duties sometimes. It's like taking care of the kids, holding down a job, trying to not have the house explode from the inside out in terms of managing whatever is happening in there. And I'm just curious for you to tell us a little bit about your background, your experience, and then also kind of what led you to form this organization. I know that you are a physical therapist, but the weight loss sort of focus is something in addition that you do. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So, girl, I could talk about this for days, right? So you're probably going to cut me off at some point. But so a little bit about my background. I grew up in Oklahoma, where being overweight is 1,000% accepted and really a way of life. I mean, I think we're like number 49 down the list for like healthiest states to live in. Biscuits and gravy, like that's my jam. I love it. We just grew up on that type of lifestyle. And so, I was a little bit overweight when I was in high school. And even though I don't honestly think anyone else cared, it bothered me. And it really helped to form kind of a negative self image. And so the whole time I was in high school, everyone I knew was yo-yo diet, like the cabbage soup diet. Like that was a thing. The shakes, herbology, Herbalife, like you name it. I mean, it's out there. And the thing is that none of it really works, right? All it does is cause metabolic disease in people. But there's so much misinformation that people don't even know where to turn, right? They're like, so I'm gonna get on Google and see what kind of quick fix I can get. And they lose 50 pounds and then they gain back 75 every single time. So I already had kind of a passion for this when I was growing up, right? And then I went to my ultimate goal, okay, was to be a cancer biologist. So I went to school, I got my bachelor's degree in cell and molecular biology. And then, I fell in love, and the school I wanted to go to was in Colorado, but I got married, and then it didn't work out in the way my life plans wanted to be. So, we had our son. He is 9 now, but I was working, 50, 60 hours a week in the lab. And it just wasn't working for our family dynamic. So I made the decision to go back to physical therapy school because I wanted to do something that I could actually work with people and also use the knowledge that I already had to build, to grow, and to help people. So I went to physical therapy school, an insanely tough program. It was like, for family dynamic, impossible. It was so hard. And then I had all these big hopes and dreams. I got out, started working in the clinic, patients getting better exactly the way everything was planned, except for the ones who weren't, right? So it's always this elephant in the room, right? So for instance, I had a girl come into my clinic, and I can't really give you specifics, but I'll say she was a young teenager, wanted to be a dancer, right? So she was working on dance in school and then ultimately wanted to be a professional dancer. Well, she's 60 pounds overweight, right? At a young teenage age. And it's not really about, for her, it's stigma, right? For her, it's the way. This is the hardest time for girls growing up, right? And all she knows is, I'm overweight, but I want to be a dancer, but no one will talk to her about it, right? Her mom, who was a child psychologist, didn't want to talk to her about it because when it's in your family, they don't listen, right? Her primary care has never said anything to her. So she comes to my clinic with ankle pain, wants to be a dancer, and we have to talk about this elephant in the room. And, it occurred to me over several patients like this that no one is doing that, right? You go to your orthopedic surgeon and he's like, I can do a total knee replacement, but why don't you say your knee will feel better if you lose 100 pounds? Okay. And the same thing with, primary care. They say, just diet and exercise, get on MyFitnessPal. And it doesn't work because people need more than that. Okay? And what's missing is the emotional health link. Okay. I mean, why you have to understand why you got there in the first place. Right. So given my background and my personal experiences, and then what I saw once I got out in the clinic, it kind of shaped me to form this program that would help people finally, with all of the facets needed to lose weight, come together in a place where they could with the community.
I mean, it resonates, and I think it probably resonates with a lot of us, right? There's like the stuff that we have from like childhood in terms of conversations we have with ourselves about who we are and what we can do and what we can't do. And then there's also the reality of life, life throwing us curveballs, and maybe putting us in a position to not sort of reach our dreams or our goals, whatever they may be. It may not be ballroom dancing, but it may be, being around for our kids, long into the future, if we have things like diabetes or, high blood pressure or other things that can sometimes be driven by weight. So, it's great that we're having this conversation. And I'm just curious, for you, in terms of the patients that you work with, what are some of the things that you help them to identify as a way, as an opportunity to kind of shift the pattern of thinking that's going to allow for sustained success in weight loss?
So I would say that honestly, the biggest component, which is kind of ironic because when you think weight loss, you think physical, but it's not, it's emotional health. Right? Because if you can't come to the table consistently every day to meet your goals, right? If you can't see your own self-value and your self-worth and that you are worth it personally, then every plan you have is going to fail. Okay? So we have to address the emotional health component first. Why you got where you are, right? Like what went the way that it did, where you ended up where you are, and how do we change that? How do we change the way that you think about yourself, the way you think about your goals, the way you think about food, the relationship? Okay, so sometimes it's just, point blank being objective, like here's the facts, right? And then sometimes it's let's talk about the emotional side because you got to have both of them. And if you don't, there's no chance for success. And medicine itself has gotten so specialized that no one's talking about it, right? They're just sending you on your way. Diet, weight loss, count calories.
I have to, this is where I have to do a confession. The confession is, y'all, this is my sister-in-law. And so what I'm about to tell you, it has to do with my own personal experience with Dixie, which is her nickname, and just also my ability to confirm that she knows what she's talking about. Separate from the weight loss piece, about a year ago is when I really started having some pain with my neck and my part of my back, like the upper scapular region, also just really tight muscles and but numbness in particular, as well as tingling in my arms, both of them, down to my fingers. And so, I had consulted a number of orthopedic specialists, as well as gone to physical therapists in where I live, in an effort to figure out what was going on, reduce the symptoms, because it had gotten to be so intense that I couldn't sleep at night. I was always in pain. I couldn't go for a run the way that I normally did because my arms would hurt. And it was all it seemed like it was stemming from my spinal area. The point is, I finally was like, let me use the resource that's in my own family to find out if she had some other ideas about what might be happening and how I can reverse what I'm experiencing, because surgery was on the table. When I say surgery, the doctor that I consulted with last told me that basically I was going to have a hole cut in the front of my neck in order for them to reach back to my spine to correct the issue in the way that they felt was best. Well, let me tell you something. My sister-in-law said, hold up, before you do all that, let's explore some other things. And she got on the video chat with me, much like she is right now. And she gave me some exercises to explore. And then she also got on the internet and found me a physical therapy place near me that she felt might really be able to help me. That literally saved me from getting surgery, which, by the way, one of the things that I learned in engaging with Dixie is that, and I'm going to get this wrong, but I know you can chime in and tell them what I'm trying to get to, is that there's no silver bullet for this. And especially when you introduce surgery, there's no going back. The outcome that surgery will seek to create will be never better than what you originally had in terms of your body pre-surgery. So, for me, it was a very timely and crucial experience to have someone who took the time to explain what was happening, to do a good and solid assessment of what was going on with my body, and listen so that she could give me sound advice that actually helped me stay hole free. So I say that as a point of understanding your integrity and who you are, in that I know you put just as much passion in terms of the weight loss side of this as you do your physical therapy. So I just wanted to add that. And so why in pandemic, are we adding another thing to our plate in terms of, it's one thing to want to be in a bikini for Tahiti, in a couple of months from now, but it's another thing to potentially be in the house, during the summer. Not to be vain, but just tell me why, this is a good time in the midst of all the other things that we've got going on to pursue better health through weight loss.
Yeah, absolutely. So two reasons. One, eventually those flights are going to open back up and you want to be bikini ready. All right. So you can just book, ready, set, go, right? Go to your dream vacations. It's all built up now. So you're going to go to a big vacation. Right. But more importantly, because the fact is time is going on, right? Why we're in this pandemic. You can't keep waiting, right? Because you don't know when it's going to end, right? When is there going to be a point where you can go back to gyms, you can get back to doing your normal routines. And as time is going on and your health is declining, because even in our normal jobs, right, 9 to 5, whatever it is, you're moving around when you're out, not stuck in your house. And those little wins, you're missing them right now. Okay? So there's a ton of research out there that shows that it doesn't matter how much time you spend at the gym, you can't overcome 8 hours of sitting. That's not what our bodies are meant to do. Right? So as your health, even if you don't realize it, is declining while you're sitting at your desk for 8 hours a day, and you're homeschooling your kids and you're bouncing back and forth trying to make sure they're on their Zoom meetings and being decent human beings to their teachers, they need you too. Right? So right now they need you physically, but in terms of 5-10 years down the road, what you do right now, it matters, it counts. And really, what better time right now to show yourself some self-care and some self-love than in the time when you're most stressed out because there's so much pressure on you currently. Right? So typically we see people who are any degree of overweight, right? But by the time people come to us, usually it's because they've tried all these yo-yo diets, they've failed, they keep coming back. But now, by the time you get here, you have knee pain, you have neck pain, you have type 2 diabetes, you have fatty liver disease, all these other things that it's easier to prevent than to reverse, right? But they can be reversed, right? So by the time they get to us, usually it's multiple complications and people need guidance. You can't take someone who has type 2 diabetes, send them to their primary care who says, watch your insulin, lose weight and exercise. It's not safe, right? So they need medical guidance. And really that's what sets our program apart. So there's a lot of different solutions out there. Noom, Weight Watchers, and Noom is really the big new thing. But So you get all this guidance, but it's a bot. It's not specific to you. It's not someone to help you. And what we bring to the table is a mental health professional, a registered dietitian who gives you a personal plan, and a physical therapist with a doctorate degree who can help you manage these comorbidities and your specific illnesses to help you get better, to address all of those facets. And it's personal to you, one-on-one coaching. Like, I will go through your fridge with you. If you ask me for help, you're gonna have to unask me. All right, because I'm gonna stop. Right? You're not gonna fail in my program. It's not an option.
That's awesome. Yeah, and you literally just kind of hit where I was going to go in terms of the fact that there are other programs out there, but yeah, from a personalization standpoint, you know, we see through the power of communities like this one, you know, like Facebook, or you know, other social media platforms, just what it is to find people who are in the same boat as you, and connect with them, in addition to building relationships with professionals like yourself who can help direct them like in a very sort of like specific way to them. So that's awesome. For people who are listening and who are interested in learning more about your services, where can they go? Where can they explore, you know, a bit more information? And also, you're of course invited to write this information down in the thread afterwards. But just so if they're listening, like, where can they find out more?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a, do you mind if I screen share?
Please, please do.
All right. Oh, host disabled my participant screen sharing.
Yeah, that would be because my I did not set this up. Let me see if there is a way for me to undo that. I think there is. Hold on one second. Okay, you are now co-host, so you should be able to share what you like.
Thank you very much. Okay. Just gonna bring this up here. All right, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
All right, so this is our website. It's access.physio, and you can see the URL up there. I'm not gonna read it to you, but just to go through a little bit about the program. So this is where you can find more information. Well, let me backtrack just a little bit and tell you, we also have, because we were just talking about communities, you know, and the power of social media, we also have a weight loss group that provides support and also challenges. I'm happy to post that in the link after, or the link in the comments after we go through all of this. But it's a great place to just stop in and get support and get advice from actual medical professionals. I got to tell you, like, I'm so frustrated. So I'm in several other weight loss groups, you know, just offering advice to people. And again, like, there's so much misinformation in these Facebook doctors, right, that it can really be super dangerous for people. So we actually started our own group to be able to provide that perspective, you know, from a medical position, to help people get like actual real life advice. So I'll post a link to that group if anyone's interested in joining it. But back to the program. So this is our website that you can go to. You can find it on my personal Facebook profile as well. But it just talks a little bit about the program and what's specific to it, and essentially the fact that, like, we just hold your hand the whole way. Like I said before, we're not going to allow you to fail, because by the time you get here, you've tried everything else, right? And then a little bit of the program preview. Do you mind if I go through it?
Please do.
Yeah, just give people kind of an idea of, you know, what to expect in the program. So basically, every week there is a video that's going to be specific to a topic. And you guys are single parents, right? Like, you're busy, you got a million other things to do. So that's the beauty of this. It's not a set time. So anytime you have, you know, 20, 30 minutes early in the week, log in, watch the video, and it's going to give you some guidance and some information on a specific topic that you need to help you lose weight, right? And then after that, there's going to be some action items, some checklists, some things you need to do. And then every single week, you're going to meet with either me, our emotional health expert, or a registered dietitian. All right. So the first week is really telling your story. So week one is all about accountability, because if you can't own your story and figure out like how you got where you are, you're never going to get past it, right? You have to address those issues. And so you're going to get with that an accountability partner who is in the program, and you guys are going to partner up to help each other stay accountable. So we're going to tell our stories, right, in the first week. In the second week, you're going to get straight to it, right? So nutrition, so weight loss is 80% in the kitchen. right? So you can spend all day on the treadmill and never have your bad food choices. So you're going to meet the registered dietitian. She's going to give you a program specific to you. There's no restrictive dieting in this. There's no pills. Like, you know, like if you, this is my thing, all right? If you take away any single one thing from your diet, right? Like, I'm not going to eat carbs. Like, I'm not going to eat sweets. I'm not going to have sugar. I'm not going to have soda ever. Like, that's the first place you fail, right? Because the second you feel deprived, it's over right then, right? Because you've earned it. You deserve it, right? You had a hard day. You know, the kids were extra crazy today, right? So there's no restricted dieting in our program. It's all about, like, if you want the cupcake, like, just eat the cupcake, right? But accountability, right? If it goes in, you got to figure out how you're going to work it off, okay? So the program, the dietitian is specific to you. It's a nutritional plan specific to you, what works for you. Week 3 is all about exercise. And like I said, most people who come to us, they have some sort of pain already. So this is a wellness program. We don't treat pain, but we'll teach you in this program how to exercise with pain, what types of things that you can still do to get you where you need to be. And we'll meet you where you are, right? I mean, if you can't lift your arms overhead, fine, we'll figure it out. And we're going to help you figure out how to do that. Right. So, and then the other thing too is, you know, if you're 50 pounds overweight, but you're a CrossFitter, fantastic. We're going to figure out where you are, build a program specific to you to help you start exercising. And we're going to carry that through the whole program. So we're going to meet again to talk about these things. So it's not just, you know, you get one program and then this is it, right? You have to progress. So week 4, I mean, honestly, probably the most important week there is, right? So minding your emotional health. So we put it down a little bit just so that we could get to kind of the meat early on, the diet, the exercise, but then the emotional health. By the time you get to week 4, you're wondering why you made this choice, right? So this is a good time to talk about emotional health. And then that week, we're going to have some really specific things where I'm so excited about week 4 that are going to help you to see, you know, where your shortfalls are and how to build on from where you are, building blocks, right? Week 6 is all about your barriers. Like, what is specific to you that you're having a hard time with? Is it the diet piece? Is it the exercise? Is it, you know, your
sleep?
right? Right. But hey, that's coming down. That's a little, I think that's week 7. Yeah, that's the next week. So yeah, so basically, you know, it's your barrier specific to you. Like I said, like if we need to go through your fridge together and figure out, you know, like how to make better choices, like what we can make some swaps, we'll do that. And just as an example, I think like you just said, week 7, oh my gosh, like it's so important. Sleep is critical for everything, like not just for your weight loss, but back to your emotional health, right? I mean, if you're coming, like it's literally, like lack of sleep is literally a torture tactic, right? Like these are in the military, like in basic training. So why are we doing this to ourselves, right? Back to the self-care. Like it's so incredibly important. So week 7 is all about where are your issues with sleeping? Is it lack of time? Is it lack of an environment where you feel safe? Is it pain? What is it? And how do we address it? And how do we make it work for you so that you can get an optimal amount of sleep, even if it's just increasing, you know, 2 hours a day, right? Week 8 is food labels and overcoming disease. So this is where especially the medical piece comes in. So you could tell anyone on the street, like, oh, look at the food labels and I'll show you how to read them. But if you have high blood pressure or you have, you know, high cholesterol, if you have type 2 diabetes, like that's not what you need, right? You need something specific to you to go through and show you like, this is what the food label says, but look, this isn't safe for you. This is what you need. Okay, so it's specific to what people bring to the table to help them. Week 9, oh my gosh, like manage your time, manage your life. And I think every single person in this group probably can use some degree of this if you're single parenting, because you have to learn how to put yourself first, how to build boundaries so that there is time for you. I can say 1,000% as a mom, it's so difficult to do that because, you know, we think we're helping them because this is what they need the most right now. And I'll worry about me when I have the time. But the fact is, like I said before, like what you're doing right now matters because they don't just want you right now, they want you long-term. Okay, so you have to figure out where those boundaries are, how to manage your time so that you can be there for your kids, but show up for yourself also, right? Week 10 is it's all about the roller coaster, right? Like how to get off the roller coaster, what happens if you stay on the roller coaster. And I touched on this a little bit earlier, but metabolic disease, I mean, heart disease, lung disease, all of these things. I mean, autoimmune disease, it's huge, huge, huge in yo-yo dieting. So you have to figure out a solution that works so that you don't get to that place where you've tried everything. Now your metabolism's shot. You spent 10 years on phentermine, or whatever it is. So it's all about how to make it work for you. And then week 11 is how you prevent relapse, how you prevent regaining the weight. Are you minding your emotional health and staying with your motivation to make sure you get the best outcome? And then week 12 is the best part, like your transformation, right? When you go through that, so like, this is where you are, or this is where you were, right? This is where you are, and what now? It's great.
Awesome. That sounds so comprehensive and very well thought out in terms of all aspects of your experience as a person, definitely as a mom, and someone who can basically also use this as a time to kind of level set up against maybe habits that will also be helpful for the household, not just for us. So that's another thing that I think is really cool about this, which is we are learning, as we learn to better care for ourselves, we're learning how to better show our kids how to do the same. And since we're all experiencing pandemic together, that's key. So I just, there's so many places that we could go with this, but the main sort of thing that I would be interested in knowing, if I were watching this, is how to get in touch with you. Is this the sort of the starting place? On the site, since we're looking at it, do you press the book now for like a consultation, or how does it work?
Right. So if you weren't in Single Parents Who Travel, if you weren't in that group, this is what you would do. All right. You would go to this website, click on it, reserve your space. When you sign up, it comes with a 15-minute consultation, right? Because we want to make sure that you're right for this program and that you're ready, because you're not going to waste your money, right? I mean, you got to be ready because we're going to bring it. Are you ready to bring it? We'll bring it with you, right? So that's your 15-minute consultation. We talk about where you're at, where you're going, what your goals are. All right. But if you're in Single Parents Who Travel, we have a special deal for you. Okay. So this is it. It's a 20% off the entire program because the whole thing is about self-love. And I think some single parents need some self-love right now. Right. So specific for this group, we're going to give you 20% off. This program, by the way, we only take a certain number of people at a time because otherwise we would be Noom, right? We'd be Weight Watchers. We can't, we want to be able to provide you exactly what you need. And we start by doing that by not overwhelming ourselves. So we go through rounds of this program, right? So the next round is starting February the 15th. The last day to sign up is February 12th, right? Because you're going to have to do your interview or your intake where we talk about all the things that we just talked about. So February 12th is the last day. But what you're going to do is, so there's a link in here. I'm going to post this to the group after, and then also in the comments of this live, I'll post this group. I'll also post the group I'll post this link, and then I'll also post the group for our weight loss program if you want to get in that group and just learn more, get some support. Yeah, so I'll post those in there. That's how you're going to find it. You can always message me on Facebook also. I'm happy to respond to any messages there if you have questions. And then, like I said, the link for it actually is going to send you to Calendly to book your 15-minute session with us. That is a free 15-minute call, guys. So there's no cost associated with it. It's just 15 minutes to just spill your guts, tell us where you are, and see how we can help you.
So this is excellent. And, I am obviously a single parent, and I know that sometimes just the idea of getting started is overwhelming, right? Because there's so many competing priorities that we have for our time. But, on a separate note, but related note, I would share that, this is a time that I can also imagine, given what we're experiencing globally around health, particular to coronavirus, especially, that fortifying our systems with good food, like nutrition, water, the right vitamins, etc. That's also a tremendous win in terms of, if you need a reset, like myself from months of potato chips and, cookies and etc. I can imagine a better time to show the love that we need to ourselves, not just from an aesthetic standpoint, but a longevity standpoint. So I've been trying to be discreet on this big old jug of water. It's giving me, talk about accountability. Good morning, good afternoon. Like
right?
You're real clear where you are any given day in regards to your health. I want to give people a few minutes if they had anything to ask. Dixie, I understand it's a busy day. You know, this is probably the time during the week that our kids are really occupying our time, not occupied by the screens from school. If they're school age, so we get it. This will definitely be in the group afterwards, so that you guys can replay this at your convenience. But before we close, I just wanted to ask you, Dixie, you know, one, I want to thank you for your time. What you're offering is amazing. And again, I can fully vouch for your loving care as it relates to your patients, because I am one of them. And then also, as someone who has a lot of family responsibilities yourself, you overstand what it is to put people in front of yourself, but also keep the eye on the fact that nothing works unless you do. And so I think you're a really great coach and model for this in and of itself. So did you have any sort of closing thoughts or words of inspiration for anyone before we end?
Yeah. So let me just touch really quick on something that you said a few minutes ago in terms of being home with the kids and the pressure that is on single parents right now. Don't forget, right? They're watching you, right? They're watching to see how are you responding for, I mean, in a pandemic, like how are your the stress, right? How are you taking care of yourself? Because what you're teaching them now is what they're going to do when they leave. So if you can show them right now that when times are the hardest, that it's okay to take care of yourself, you need to have good nutrition. And because like you said, longevity, right? So you're setting the foundation for the rest of their lives too. And what a great time to lead by example. Yeah.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Dixie, thank you so much for your time. We'll definitely look for your contact information in the comments. By all means, Dixie will also be posting her Facebook group from a place of community, which I'm also in there. So wave hi to me if you see me. But yeah, this has been awesome. And I look forward to having you on again.
Thank you so much, Tamika. I'm so grateful for the opportunity. What a fantastic group of people. And everyone is going to get through it together. Someday the pandemic will end.
Exactly. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day, Mom.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.